I'm sorry. There were some issues. I couldn't come in. And I tried to click a link and the link didn't work. I'm very sorry. Sorry. My child was in the okay. File also. Okay. अच्छा विशेषतः श्री कृष्णावतार महात्म्यम, specifically the glories of the incarnation of Krishna. Brahmanda Purane Shri Krishna Ashtottara Shatanama Mahatmye, in the description of 108 names of Lord Krishna that are found in Brahmanda Purana, we find Sahasranam Punyanam Dhriravrityatu Yat Phalam Ekavrityatu Krishnasya Namekam Tat Prayakshati. The benefit obtained by reciting the 1,000 names of Lord Vishnu can be obtained simply by reciting the holy name of Sri Krishna just once. Krishnasya Krishnavatara Sambandhi Namaivam Api Tat Phalam. So the result of taking shelter of Krishna's name is similar to taking shelter of Krishna himself, referring to Krishna as he incarnated. Idam kiriti sanjapya jayi pashupatastra bhak Krishnasya pranabhutasam Krishnam sarathim aptavam kim idam bahuna shamsan manushananda nirbhara manushananda nirbhara brahmanandam avapyante Krishna sayujyam apnuyat. By chanting the holy names of Krishna, Arjuna acquired the Pashupata weapon and became a very dear friend of the Lord, and thereby was able to engage him as his charioteer simply by chanting the holy names of Lord Krishna. One becomes merged in an ocean of transcendental ecstasy and ultimately attains his association in the spiritual sky. Idam Shri Krishnavatara Sambandhi Nama Bahuna Kim Idam Shri Krishnavatara Nama. What more needs to be stated about the holy name connected to Shri Krishna who incarnated? Shri Krishnena Sayujyam Nitya Samyogam. He attains eternal communion with Krishna. He attains his association, eternal association. Sayujya, one should not think refers to like the Brahma Sayujya or merging. One doesn't merge with Krishna. Sayujyam Sahayogam. There are statements in the Upanishads. When one does pious activities, he attains Sayujya with Chandra. That does not mean he merges with Chandra. Rather, it means he goes to the moon. He goes to moon and he meets the moon god. He associates with him. So like that, there is also Narayana Sayujya or Krishna Sayujya. Varahecha Shri Mathura Mahatmya. In the Mathura Mahatmya section of the Varaha Purana, it is stated, Tatra Gukhyani Namani Bhavishyanti Mama Priye punyani cha pavitrani samsara chedanani cha. Oh dear one, in my pastimes as Krishna, my most confidential holy names will be most auspicious, supremely purifying, and the deliverer of the conditioned souls from material existence. Tatraiva Visheshata Shri Krishneti Nama Mahatmya. And even amongst the names of Shri Krishna, the glory of Krishna, Krishna itself being Krishna's primary name. Dwaraka Mahatmya Prahlada Bali Samvade. In the conversation between Prahlada and Bali,
who can't hear you,
recorded in Dwaraka Mahatmya. The following appears. Atita Purusha Sapta Bhavishyascha Chaturdasa Dasha. Narastrayate Sarvan Kalau Krishneti Kirtanat. Krishna Krishneti Krishneti Swapanjagrad Vrajam Statha Yo Jalpati Kalau Nityam Krishna Rupi Bhaved Dhis Saha. Those who chant the holy name of Lord Krishna in this dangerous age of Kali will deliver 7 past generations of their family as well as 14 future generations. In this age of Kali, one who while awake or while dreaming chants Krishna Krishna becomes situated on the same platform as the Lord. Brahma Vaivarte, in the Brahmavivarta Purana, it is stated, Anan Brahmanam Atyantam Kamo Va Suram Piban Krishna Krishne Yahoratram Sankirtya Shuchitamiya. Even if someone had killed a Brahman or habitually drank wine, if he chants Krishna Krishna throughout the day and night, he will become purified. Vishnu Dharma, in the Vishnu Dharma it is stated. There's a nice comment here from Sri Sanatana Goswami on 491 actually. This is a statement of Lord Varaha in Mathura Mahatmya section. Anushan Keva Phalam Chaha Punyani. The holy names of the Lord incidentally bring about piety, auspiciousness, Pavitrani, Paramashodhakani. They are supremely purifying. Samsara Chedakani, Muktidani. They destroy one's experience of material existence. They grant liberation. Yatva Guhyatvamevaha Punya Surupani Pavitra Rupani Cha Tatha Samyak Sarasya Ma Kshayasya No Sarasya Ma Kshayasya Chedanani Mumuksha Nivatane Naiva Tateva Nishtata Padakani Apadakani Ityartha. The confidential nature of Krishna's names is that they are the very forms of piety and purification. They even take away the desire for liberation and bring about steadiness in devotional service. Tatracha hanan ghanan niti vartamana nirdeshanena anivrittim bodhayati. And while stating the previous verse here, you see here. Anand, Piban. In Sanskrit, literally this verse means, even if someone is killing a Brahmana or is habitually drinking wine, if he chants Krishna Krishna throughout day and night, he will become purified. So that is the usage of the present tense. And then it brings him to the point of freedom. Evam anyatrapi uchya. अहोरात्रम् एकमेव संकीर्त्य इति संकीर्तनस्य बाहुल्यमात्रम् अभिप्रेतम्. So if day and night he only recites Krishna, Krishna. So from this we understand that he repeatedly recites Krishna's names. Yatva ahoratram suram pibannapi iti sambandha. If a person day and night drinks wine, but he chants Krishna's names again, then he becomes purified fully. Vishnu Dharma. In Vishnu Dharma, Krishneti Mangalam Nama Yasya Vachi Pravartate Bhasmi Bhavanti Rajendra Mahapataka Kotayaha, O ruler of men. When one utters the most auspicious holy name Krishna, all his countless sinful reactions are burned to ashes. Yasya Vachi Pravartate Shraddhadikam Antarena Sanketyadina Katanchidapi Jihvayam Swayameva Udeti Iti Artha. If the holy name personally appears on the tongue of a person somehow or other, even as an indirect designation, like for instance, you refer to, just like we give names to children, we give Krishna's names to children. So we say, Hari, please come here. That is an instance of Sanketya. You are reciting the name of Lord Hari to refer to someone other than Lord Hari. And even without faith, some or other, the holy name is on the tongue. Tasya sadhyo bhasmi bhavanti. Then crores, which means billions of greatly degrading sinful reactions, they instantly become turned into ashes. Na kevalam etavadeva. It is not only this much. Kintu parama shubha avah, parama sukha atmakam cha. And apart from that, the holy name brings about supreme auspiciousness. It is of the very nature of supreme bliss. Mangalam indicates that. Krishneti Mangalam Nama, when one utters the most auspicious holy name, most auspicious. Narasimhe Shri Bhagavatam. In the Narasimha Purana, we find a statement of Shri Bhagavan. Krishna Krishneti Krishneti Yomam Smarate Yashaha Jalam Bhitva Yathapadmam Narakat Uddharamyaham. I personally deliver from a hellish condition of life. One who constantly remembers me by chanting my holy name, Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. He is delivered from material existence just as a lotus flower emerges from the water. Garude Padmecha in the Garuda Purana and Padma Purana. Samsara Sarpa Sandashtam Nashta Cheshtaika Bhejam Krishneti Vaishnavam Mantram Shutva Mukto Bhaven Naraha. One who has lost his original consciousness due to being bitten by a poisonous snake in the form of material existence can be relieved of his distress simply by hearing the Vaishnava mantra Krishna, which is the only remedy for the diseased condition of material life. Krishneti namaikam va sakran pratyaham smarati jalam ekarana udakam vitva padmam bhupadmam prithvi mandalam yatha udharami yatva jalam bhitva yatha padmam udbhavati tatha naraka nimagnam api udharami. Even if one chants one single name, Krishna, and he does it every day, by remembering the holy name, then just as the Lord rescued Bhumandala, which is shaped like a lotus, when it was submerged in the ocean, like that, or just as a lotus, it pierces through water and comes up, like that. The Lord, He delivers a person who is drowning in hell. Tatra yatha padmasya jalasamparko na syadeva tasya punar naraka sambandho naiveti moksho vipretaha. Just as a lotus is not tainted by water, so like that, the person who's been delivered, he does not have a relationship with hell once again. From this, we understand that the Lord desires liberation for such a person. Prarabdha karma nashasya darshitaha. It is pointed out that even the karmic reactions that have begun to fructify are removed. Samsara eva sarpas. Material existence is like a snake. Tena samyak dashtasya ateva nashta chetasya ekam advitiyam bheshajam tan nivartakam ityartha. For a person who has been bitten by, who has been fully bitten, fatally bitten by this snake of material existence, and therefore who has lost his consciousness, the one and only medicine that can revive his consciousness is this Vaishnava mantra named Krishna. Vaishnava niti Garuda adi mantra to vishishtata ta. The expression Vaishnavam mantram indicates that it is distinct from the Garuda mantra and similar mantras. Mantras have a presiding deity and they are named according to them. Prabhasa Purane Narada Kushadhwaja Samvade Shri Bhagavatam. In the Prabhasa Purana, in the conversation between Narada and Kushadhwaja, the Supreme Lord spoke the following. Namnam Mukhyataram Nama Krishnakhyam Me Parantapa Prayaschittam Asheshanam Papanam Mochakam Param. O vanquisher of the enemies, among all my holy names, the name Krishna is the foremost. This holy name is the best means of atonement for even unlimited sinful activities. And it is the giver of liberation. Param Mochakam. Parama Muktikaram Nityartham. It grants the supreme liberation. Love of Godhead. Padme, Padma Purana. Yatra yatra sthito vapi Krishna Krishna iti kirta yat sarva papa vishuddhatma sagachet paramam gatim. Wherever one may be, if he somehow chants Krishna, Krishna, he will immediately be freed from all sinful reactions and achieve the highest goal of life. Paramam gatim. He will attain the highest goal of life. Vaikuntha lokam ityartha. He attains Vaikuntha lokam. Shri Vishnu Dharmottare, Shri Krishna Sahasranama Stotre. In the Vishnu Dharmottara, in the Stotra, the prayer that contains Krishna's 1,000 names, the following appears. Ballavi Kanta Kim Taistayir Upayaish Krishna Namate Kinta Jihva Gam Jagran Niruddhehi Mahabhaya. O beloved Lord of the Gopis, what is the use of performing fruitive activities and cultivating knowledge? If your holy name Krishna remains present on my tongue, then where is the fear of material existence? Taih karma jnana divish shravanadi bhakti prakarayischa kim. Wow. Sanatana Goswami has explained what is the use of the processes of karma, jnana and so on. And why engage in Shravanam and other processes of bhakti? Jagrat sada prakashamanam jikvagrat gamapi sat mahabhayam samsare nirundhe vyavartayati. Simply, if the holy name is always on the tongue, then that is the great danger. There is no great danger in for such a person. In other words, for him, material existence will cease. Yadva, Mahat, Abhayam, Mokshas, Tamapi Nirundhe, Tatopi, Paramanandas, Rasa Visheshamayatva. Even if the person attains the greatest form of fearlessness, which is liberation, and even if that is taken away, even then he does not experience any loss, because the holy name has a special rasa of supreme bliss, that neither bothered about great material happiness nor great material unhappiness, or freedom from great material unhappiness. In either case, the holy name has its own pleasures, which delight a constant offenseless chanting. Tatraiva anyatra, in the same literature, another place, Satyam Bravini Teshambho Gopaniyam idam mama Mrityu Sanjeevanim Nama Krishna Khyam Avadhara. O Mahadev, I'm telling you the truth, the holy name of Krishna is most confidential. Know for certain that this holy name can bring a dead man back to life. Mrityu Sanjeevanim. Mrityutopi samyak jivayati ya vidya aushadhir va tam. The technique by which one can bring a dead man back to life is known as Mrityu Sanjeevani. It can also refer to a medicine, Mrityu Sanjeevani iti patho va. Bharata Vibhage, in a portion of Mahabharata, the Bharata Vibhage, Krishna 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 ityantakale jalpan jantur jeevitam yo jahati adya shabdah kalpate tasya mukte vrida namro tishtato nya pranasto. One who at the time of death chants the holy name Krishna 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 will not have to chant any other holy name to be delivered. Among all the names of the Lord, the name Krishna is sufficient for liberation. In fact, the other holy names of the Lord feel embarrassed, like an unemployed person who has no work. Antakale marana sameyepi adya pragukta shabda krishnanama anya dvau shabdau rinastho rinino santau tishtataha. At the time of death, when one chants Krishna Krishna Krishna, the first instance of Krishna, that is sufficient for liberation. The other two instances of Krishna, they become indebted to that person, and they simply stand. Tad pashyataya Krishna Krishneti sadatan mukhadishu pradurbhavati iti bhavaha. And because they are standing indebted to the chanter, they continuously appear in the tongue of that, in the mouth of that person, and so on. This is implied. Nama naminor abhedena namnaha rinastatva naminopi rinastata bhagavad vashikaritvam gyeyam. There is no distinction between the holy name and the person who is referred to by the holy name. Therefore, because the holy name is indebted to the chanter of the holy name, the person who is referred to by the holy name also becomes indebted to the chanter of the holy name. So from this we understand that this person has subjugated the Supreme Lord in affection. Anyatrapi, elsewhere it is stated, Nama Chintamani Krishna's Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Shuddho Nityamukto Bhinnatvan Nama Namino. This translation is Prabhupada's. The holy name of Krishna is transcendently blissful. It bestows all spiritual benedictions, for it is Krishna himself, the reservoir of all pleasure. Krishna's name is complete and it is the form of all transcendental mellows. It is not a material name under any condition. It is no less powerful than Krishna himself. Since Krishna's name is not contaminated by the material qualities, there is no question of its being involved with Maya. Krishna's name is always liberated and spiritual. It is never conditioned by the laws of material nature. This is because the name of Krishna and Krishna himself are identical. Krishna ite nama chintamani riva chintamani. The holy name Krishna, it is a touchstone resembling the material touchstone. Sevakasya chintitartha pradatva. Because that holy name provides whatever is contemplated by the servant of the holy name. Krishna nama Swarupamaha. Then he states the nature of Krishna's name. Chaitanya Tyada Visheshana Chatushnema. In 4 adjectives. Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha, Purnaha, Shuddhaha, Nityamuktaha. यद्यपि नाम विशेषणत्वेन चैतन्य रस विग्रहादि पदानां नपुंसकत्वम् उपयुज्यते तथापि नाम नाम्नः अभेद विवक्षया कृष्ण इति अस्य विशेषणत्वेन पुंस्त्वम्. See, in Sanskrit the word nama is in neuter gender. There are grammatical genders in Sanskrit. They do not correspond to natural genders, real genders. Always. But the word itself has a gender in Sanskrit. So the Sanskrit word nama, which means the holy name, it is in neuter gender. And Chaitanya Krishnaha, Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha, Purnaha, Shuddhaha, Nityamuktaha, by rules of Sanskrit grammar, are in the masculine gender. So Shri Sanatana Goswami states that even though it should have been Chaitanya Rasa Vigraham, Purnam, Shuddham, Nityamuktam, and so on, in gender, if you put it in neuter gender, you will have to put it like that. Still, it is placed in this manner: Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha, Purnaha, Shuddhaha, Nityamuktaha. And by certain rules, it becomes Shuddho, Nityamukto. That is because there is no distinction between the holy name and Krishna. And when we refer to Krishna in a sentence like this, we have to use the masculine gender. Krishna refers to Krishna, but the very word Krishna is masculine in the grammatical gender. And therefore, Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha, Purnaha, Shuddhaha, Nityamuktaha have been used, because there is no distinction. And he gives an example. Yatha Narayano Naman Naro Naranam Prasiddha Chaura Katita Prithivyam Ityadi. That's a famous statement. There's a statement. There is a name, Narayana, and he's famous as a great thief amongst various souls on earth. So here also, Prasiddha Chauraha is actually put in the masculine gender. Anyway, it's not too complicated. It simply means that the scriptures very explicitly recognize that Krishna is not different from his holy name. Atayevoktam, therefore it is said, Ebhyo namostu bhavavarthi jirna pankas sammagna mokshana vichakshana padukebhya Krishneti varna yugala shravanena yesham ananda thur bhavati nartita roma vrinda. I offer my respectful obeisance unto the lotus feet of the devotees who are capable of lifting up the fallen conditioned souls who are entangled into the mire of material existence, who shed incessant tears of love while hearing the two syllables Krishna, and whose hair stands on end while listening to the holy name of the Lord. Evam Krishna Nama Mahatmya Vishesham Likhitva Adhana Tat Shravana Ananditan Pranaman Tam Eva Pariposhyan Likhatitebhya iti. So having stated, having specifically written about the special glories of the name Krishna, now he offers his obeisance unto those who are delighted by hearing that name. And he reinforces the special glories of the name of Krishna. It states this current verse. Bhavavarithir jirne puratane pamte sammagnasya mokshane vichakshana. These devotees whom he is glorifying are expert in delivering those in delivering one who is completely immersed in, who has fallen into the old quicksand of the ocean of material existence. Adukapi Esham Tepja. Even their shoes are capable of delivering, what to speak of them. Kimcha Dutiya Skandhe, moreover, in the second canto, it is stated, Tadashmasaram Hridayam Patedam Yad Grihyamanai Harinamatheye Na Vikriyeta Yada Vikaro Nitre Jalam Gatra Bhuveshu Harsha. Certainly, that heart is steel framed, which, in spite of one's chanting the holy name of the Lord with concentration, does not change when ecstasy takes place. Tears fill the eyes and the hairs stand on end. Prabhupada has commented on this. So let me first take up Sanatana Goswami Prabhu. While I open Prabhupada. इत्थं परमाहात्म्य विशेषवतो भगवान् नाम श्रवणादिनाप्यानन्दरहितान् प्रसंगान् निन्दति तदस्मेति वाक्भ्याम्. He now criticizes those who are devoid of joy when they hear and otherwise come in contact with the name of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who has these supremely special glories as described. He criticizes these people in two verses, text 505 and 506. Ashwavatsara Stiramsha Kakinyam Nesitam, referring to those who are hard-hearted. Their hair does not stand up in ecstasy when they chant the holy name. Nice commentary to this verse. Let me read out Prabhupada's translation and commentary. Certainly that heart is steel framed, which in spite of one's chanting the holy name of the Lord with concentration does not change. Even when one displays such signs of transformation as tears in the eyes and ecstatic standing of the hairs on end. We should note with profit that in the first 3 chapters of the second canto, a gradual process of development of devotion service is being presented. In the first chapter, the first step in devotion service for God consciousness by the process of hearing and chanting has been stressed. And the gross conception of the personality of Godhead in its universal form for the beginners is recommended. By such a gross conception of God, through the material manifestations of this energy, one is enabled to spiritualize the mind and the senses and gradually concentrate the mind upon Lord Vishnu, the Supreme, who is present as the super soul in every heart and everywhere, in every atom of the material universe. The system of Pancha Upasana, recommending 5 mental attitudes for the common man, is also enacted for this purpose, namely gradual development, worship of the superior that may be in the form of fire, electricity, the sun, the mass of living beings, Lord Shiva, and at last the impersonal super soul, the partial representation of Lord Vishnu. They are all nicely described in the second chapter. But in the third chapter, further development is prescribed after one has actually reached the stage of Vishnu worship or pure devotion service. And the mature stage of Vishnu worship is suggested herein in relation to the change of heart. The whole process of spiritual culture is aimed at changing the heart of the living being in the matter of his eternal relation with the Supreme Lord as subordinate servant, which is his eternal constitutional position. So with the progress of devotion service, the reaction of change in the heart is exhibited by gradual detachment from the sense of material enjoyment, by a false sense of lording it over the world, and an increase in the attitude of rendering loving service to the Lord. In other words, when we progress in Krishna consciousness, we should first of all develop detachment from the very spirit of trying to enjoy as much as possible while in material existence. And on the other hand, we should be developing an attitude of service to the Supreme Lord with our body, mind, words, and so on. Vidhi Bhakti, or regulated devotional service by the limbs of the body, namely the eyes, the ears, the nose, the hands, and the legs, as already explained here and before, is now stressed herein in relation to the mind, which is impetus for all activities of the limbs of the body. It is expected by all means that by discharging regular devotion service, one must manifest the change of heart. If there is no such change, the heart must be considered steel framed, for it is not melted, even when there is chanting of the holy name of the Lord. You must always remember that hearing and chanting are the basic principles of discharging devotion service, and if they are properly performed, they will follow the reactional ecstasy with signs of tears in the eyes and standing of the hairs on the body. These are natural consequences and are the preliminary symptoms of the bhava stage, which occurs before one reaches the perfection stage of prema, love of God. If the reaction does not take place, even after continuous hearing and chanting of the holy name of the Lord, it may be considered to be due to offenses only. That is the opinion of the Sandarbha, Krama Sandarbha, by Jiva Goswami Prabhu. In the beginning of chanting of the holy name of the Lord, if the devotee has not been very careful about avoiding the 10 kinds of offenses at the feet of the holy name, certainly the reaction of feelings of separation will not be visible by tears in the eyes and standing of the hair on end. The bhava stage is manifested by 8 transcendental symptoms, namely inertness, perspiration, standing of hairs on end, failing of the voice, trembling, paleness of the body, tears in the eyes, and finally trance. The Nectar of Devotion, a summary study of Srila Rupa Goswami's Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, explains those symptoms and vividly describes other transcendental developments, both in steady and accelerating manifestations. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has very critically discussed all these bhava displays in connection with some unscrupulous neophytes imitating the above symptoms for cheap appreciation. Not only Vishwanath Chakravarti, but also Srila Rupa Goswami has treated them very critically in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Sometimes all the above 8 symptoms of ecstasy are imitated by the mundane devotees, Prakrita Sahajiyas, but the pseudo symptoms are at once detected when one sees the pseudo devotee addicted to so many forbidden things, even though decorated with the signs of the devotee. A person addicted to smoking, drinking, or illegitimate sex with women cannot have all the above mentioned ecstatic symptoms. But it is seen that sometimes these symptoms are willfully imitated. And for this reason, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti accuses the imitators of being stone-hearted men. The point is this. From this Bhagavatam verse, one can develop the misconception that if one exhibits these ecstasies, then his heart is melting in devotion, ecstatic devotion. And if he does not exhibit these symptoms, then he is stone-hearted. But actually, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, when one fakes these ecstasies, then he is actually a stone-hearted person. They are sometimes even affected by the reflection of such transcendental symptoms, yet they still do not give up the forbidden. Yet if they still do not give up the forbidden habits, then they are hopeless cases for transcendental realization. When Lord Chaitanya met Srila Ramananda Raya of Kabul on the bank of the Godavari, the Lord developed all these symptoms, but because of the presence of some non-devotee Brahmanas who were attendants of the Raya, the Lord suppressed these symptoms. So sometimes they are not visible, even in the body of the first-class devotee for certain circumstantial reasons. Therefore, Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, from this we cannot come to the conclusion about whether the person has come to the stage of Bhava Bhakti or not. Because sometimes you have a person who has not reached the stage of Bhava Bhakti displaying these symptoms. Fake. And on the other hand, you have devotees, first-class devotees, not just in Bhava Bhakti, but in Prema Bhakti, not displaying these symptoms willfully, circumstantially. Therefore, real steady bhava is definitively displayed in the matter of cessation of material desire, shanti, utilization of every moment in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, avyartha kala dvam, eagerness for glorifying the Lord constantly, namagani sada ruchi, attraction for living in the land of the Lord, prityastat vasati sthale, complete detachment from material happiness, bhakti and pridelessness, manashunyata. There are 9 symptoms which are found in a person on the bhava platform. These are invariably present. And even that bhava bhakta, prema bhakta cannot hide these symptoms. Nor can you fake these symptoms. Because these are meant to be present uninterruptedly. One who has developed all these transcendental qualities is really possessed of the bhava state, as distinguished from the stone-hearted imitator or mundane devotee. The whole process can be summarized as follows. The advanced devotee who chants the holy name of the Lord in a perfectly offenseless manner and is friendly to everyone can actually relish the transcendental taste of glorifying the Lord. And the result of such realization is reflected in the cessation of all material desires, etc. As mentioned above, cessation of material desires, etc. refers to the 9 symptoms of bhava bhakti. The neophytes, due to their being in the lower stage of devotional service, are invariably envious. So much so that they invent their own ways and means of devotional regulations without following the acharyas. As such, even if they make a show of constantly chanting the holy name of the Lord, they cannot relish the transcendental taste of the holy name. Therefore, the show of tears in the eyes, trembling, perspiration, or unconsciousness, etc., is condemned. They can, however, get in touch with the pure devotee of the Lord and rectify their bad habits. Otherwise, they shall continue to be stone-hearted and unfit for any treatment. A complete progressive march on the return path home, back to God, it will depend on the instructions of the revealed scriptures directed by a realized devotee. So this is the method that the Acharya is prescribing, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Itihasottame. In the Itihasottama, it is stated, Namne Sankirtite Vishnu Yasya Pumsona Jayate Sarvoma Pulakam Gatram Sambhave Kulishopama. One whose hair does not stand on him while chanting the holy names of Lord Krishna possesses a heart that is as hard as a thunderbolt. Atha Shriman Namakirtana Nityata. And then he points out that the holy name of the Supreme Lord is meant to be, it's eternal, its effects are eternal. It's meant to be taken shelter of constantly. Katyayana Samhitaya, in the Katyayana Samhita, Nama Sankirtana Jatam Punyam Nopa Chayanti Ye Nana Vyadhi Samayukta Shatat Janma Sute Nara Sahanistan Mahachitram Samohas Sachal Brahma Yan Muhurtam Chanam Vapi Vasudevam Nityataye. Those who do not take advantage of the congregational chanting of the Lord's holy names will suffer from various diseases in the next hundreds of lives. Any time that is not spent chanting the holy names of the Lord is a waste, harmful, causes illusion. In other words, if one does not utilize every moment chanting the holy names of the Lord, his life is spent in vain. Nityata signifies that it is a compulsory daily duty. It is not an optional duty. It is a compulsory duty. It is meant to be regularly taken shelter of. In other words, if you do not do this, you will be subjected to adverse reactions. Teshu teshu asankheshu janmasu nanavidha vyadhi yukta bhavanti. Those who do not take shelter of the holy names, for innumerable lifetimes, they become filled with various types of diseases. If one does not glorify Lord Vasudeva for a muhurta or for even a moment, Saivahani Purushartha Kshaya, that itself is their loss, which means they have lost their Purusharthas, human goals. Tadeva Mahachitram, Karma Sangataya Antarayova. That itself is a very great defect in them. It is an obstacle for all of the ritualistic performances. Daiva Moha Jnana. That itself is their bewilderment. That itself is their ignorance. Daivacha Vibhrama. Bhranti Vishesha. It's a special type of delusion. Samsara Dhravanam Maranam Va. It causes them to transmigrate in material existence. causes them to die repeatedly. बाद में वैशाख महात्म्य, in a conversation between Yamaraj and the Brahmana, in the Vaishakha Mahatmya section of the Padma Purana, avamatya cha yanti bhagavad kirtanam nara, te yanti narakam ghoram tena papena karmana. Those who ignore, neglect the chanting of the Lord's holy names and go elsewhere to utilize their time in another way, will enter the darkest regions of hell as a result of their sinful mentality, as a result of their sinful activity, karmana, spelling mistake. एवं नाम संकीर्तन से नित्यताम लिखित्वा नाम कीर्तन श्रवणानं मोदनादि नित्यतामपि लिखति अवमत्ये. So he stated that it is compulsory to engage in nama sankirtana. He wrote that. Now he says, now he writes that it is also compulsory to hear somebody else's kirtana of the holy name and to approve of it favorably and so on. Ye Bhagavad Kirtanam anadhritya anyato yanti. Those who do not bother about respectfully, those who do not respect the holy name and go away elsewhere. Shrutayaha. In the Vedas it is said, in the Shruti, Om asya jananto namachid viviktan mahaste Vishnu summatim bhajamahe Om tatsat Om padam devasya namasa Vyanta shavasya vashrava apannamritam. I think it's better here. Namichid dathir re yagyanti Adrayante ranayanta sandrishtav. Om tam stotaraha purvam yatha vida ratasya garbham janusha pipartan asya jananto namachid viviktan mahaste Vishnu summatim bhajamahe. O Lord Vishnu, we worship your holy name, which has a transcendental form of pure knowledge, which is self-manifested and which is the most sought after entry in this world, and sought after entity in this world. O supremely worshipable Lord, we offer our unlimited obeisances at your lotus feet. Simply by hearing the glories of your holy name, devotees can attain eternal fame and liberation. Those who have accepted the worship of your lotus feet as the goal of their lives, fully engage in chanting your holy names to achieve your direct association. Although it is said that one should make his life successful by glorifying whatever he may have heard about Lord Krishna, the complete whole. We are unable to do this because we do not know how to offer prayers in the prescribed manner. Thus, we have concluded that it is our utmost duty to simply chant his holy names. In his commentary, Sri Sanatana Goswami first of all begins by offering his obeisance unto Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Devam Tam Vande Yasya Nama Samashrayad Prapniyad Adhikarit Sarvatra Anadhikar Adhikar. I offer my respectful obeisance unto Lord Chaitanya, by taking shelter of whose names one can attain eligibility, even though he is ineligible in all matters. Smrityuktam eva Artham Shrutibhi Pramanena Likhanti Shrutayascheti. So far he has quoted from the Shruti scriptures. Now he provides evidence from the Shruti to establish those very points which have been made in the Smriti scriptures. Asya etad ityartah te Vishnu etad nama janantah yadva asya. Your holy name has the glory, wonderful, astonishing, unlimited glory that it manifests. So a person who contemplates about the holy name and recites the holy name, we are like that. We worship that very holy name. What is the nature of that holy name? There are no rules and regulations binding that. So from this we understand that all of the holy names are equal. What is the nature of that holy name? Chit Jnana Swarupam. It is fully spiritual and filled with knowledge. It illuminates everything. Because it causes the appearance of all the Vedas and so on. Tatha Choktam Shri Brahmana. It causes the manifestation of all the Vedas. Tatha Choktam Shri Brahmana. That is also stated by Shri Brahma. Namamaya Ashtadashakshara Mantra Prasangam Tapani Shrutam. In the Gopala Tapani Upanishad, while talking about the 18-syllable mantra which contains the holy names, Teshu Akshareshu Bhavishya Jagrat Rupam Prakashayat iti. That holy name, it reveals everything in every syllable. The holy name is filled with spiritual bliss because its nature is fully spiritual. Punashaki Drisham. How else is the holy name? Sumatim Sushtum Manyate iti tatha Tatsugyayam Nacha Atmaswarupati Vat Durgyayam. It can be easily understood. Not like the nature of the soul, which is very difficult to be understood. Yadva Matir Vidya Shobhana Vidya Rupam Evam Sadhyatvam Sadhanatvam Choktam. It is of the form of an auspicious realization. So from this we understand that it is a goal and it is also the means. Atas Tadeva Bhajaniyam Bhajamahe. Therefore we worship that worshipable holy name. Kimcha Devasya Mayaya Kridatopi Yadva Param Pujyasya Tava Padyate Jnayate iti Padam Swarupam Padarandam Va Prati Namasa Natya Vyantam Tanmir. Those who debate about that holy name, who reveals your own supreme worshipable excellent nature. You reveal your lotus feet when we offer obeisances unto it. When the holy name is detected as being glorified, then it brings about auspiciousness unto oneself. Okay. So these are summarized in the translation. I think I'll stop it. Slide. Oops. Am I audible? Was I audible? Hope I was audible. Okay, questions? The Shruti evidence is a little bit complicated though, but it's very surprising that he provides direct evidence from the four Vedas itself for the chanting of the holy name. Very nice. Yes. Questions? I'm sorry I was late. Next time onwards, I will be on time. Prem Vasundar Prabhu. 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. Prem Vasundar Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
One of the shlokas we read, it was.
Haribol, can you speak loud?
Yeah, I'm saying one of the shlokas you read today, it said that if while chanting the holy name of the Lord, your hair does not stand, then your heart is like a thunderbolt. So how do we rectify this thunderbolt like heart? Because at least my hair never stands on end.
Well, I think that a lot of us have the same problem. Shri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says it is due to offenses. And we should not say, he specifically says, we should not argue that, oh, I'm not committing any offense. He says the very fact that scripture has pointed out that it is due to an offensive attitude, due to offenses that we are not exhibiting, we are not experiencing these ecstasies, itself is proof that we are committing offenses. It cannot be otherwise.
So how does one go about identifying what kind of offense one is making, Prabhuji?
There are offenses that we know that we have committed, but there are also offenses that we do not know that we do not. There are some offenses which we commit without knowledge. But in any case, whether we commit them with knowledge or without knowledge, they will have their, we have to experience the consequence. So from the consequence, we first of all detect that we are committing offenses. In Madhurya Kadambini, there's a whole chapter where Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur discusses this. And then he says, for the offenses that we detect, because we have to do some soul searching to detect what offense have I committed. For the ones that we know that we have committed, for each offense there is a prescribed method of rectification. For let's say the first offense, to blaspheme the devotees of the Lord who have dedicated their lives for spreading the holy names. The moment we detect that we have committed this offense for against this devotee, that devotee, and so on, we must seek forgiveness. Similarly, we might have offended the demigods in various ways. We might have offended the Vaishnava spiritual master, we might have offended Vedic scriptures and so on. In Harinam Chintamani, each offense is analyzed in great detail. So we'll have an opportunity to check that out. And for each such offense, there is a remedial measure which has been prescribed, a prayashchitta, an atonement. When we come to Harinam Chintamani, we'll see that. But regarding offenses that we don't know, and for that we need to chant constantly. What is that verse? There is a statement that when we chant the holy name constantly, then the offenses are removed. But that refers to unintentional, unknown, unintentional commission of offenses. Nama. When we commit seva aparadh with the conception that by chanting, the reactions to deity offenses will be removed, then Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, then the seva aparadhs become converted into nama aparadhs. So that becomes even more complicated. They need to be removed. It requires strenuous endeavor on our part, dogged stubbornness, to get out of the quicksand of Namaparad and the reactions to the Namaparads that we have committed.
When we consider that if we hear somebody else committing an aparadh, that is also a knowing aparadh we have committed, or how is it?
We are supposed to stop others from engaging in the same activities that are forbidden for us. And if we cannot stop, we are supposed to leave their association, because otherwise we will engage in those activities. We will develop a taste for those activities. So it becomes very entangling. Association is a very dangerous thing. It can liberate you or it can completely entangle you. It can give us the greatest spiritual joy. It can give us the greatest material and happiness also. We have to be careful about all this. Basically, we are expected to take charge of our lives in order to attain sadhana siddhi. If Krishna gives Kripa Siddhi, or Krishna's beloved devotees desire to give Kripa Siddhi, that's fine. But we can't spend our whole life waiting for Kripa Siddhi, thinking that that's the only way. We are supposed to move towards sadhana siddhi. On the way, if Kripa Siddhi comes, great, take it as a bonus. Even for sadhana siddhi, we require Krishna's mercy and the mercy of Krishna's beloved devotees. The offenses is a major issue. It's a major issue that has to be dealt with. We cannot just imagine that last minute some magic will happen and we'll all somehow the offenses will not be taken into account. This is some nonsense. This has got nothing to do with the teachings of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or his parampara. It's some Sahajiya nonsense. Even if we think that we have received Kripa Siddhi, then we will develop a taste for chanting the holy names. We will develop an aversion for Namaparad, Sevaparad, and other sinful activities. If that does not happen, this has not happened, and we imagine that we are getting Kripa Siddhi, we are just in some fantasy. Unnecessary fantasy, that too.
You said that one of the ways to get out of this unknown aparadh that you have made is you keep on chanting the holy name continuously.
No, it is not one of the ways, it is the way. It is the way to deal with unknown offenses. But for known offenses, Krishna expects us to roll up our sleeves and get to work.
So for unknown offenses, as you said, if we continuously chant, but that also is really in this Kali Yuga not possible because our mind is distracted and we cannot chant continuously. And also we have seva and so many other things. So how is it a practical?
No, chanting continuously and seva are not related. Chanting is meant to happen. Chanting, Sri Gopi Prananda once told me, our goal is to make chanting an involuntary activity like breathing. We don't say, I need to breathe, therefore I cannot do seva. So chanting Hare Krishna mantra, uttering Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare is supposed to become an involuntary activity. We are supposed to bring it to that point. We are supposed to drag ourselves to that point. It's got nothing to do with seva and all that. Haridas Thakur, he was chanting and he did services. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was reported to have chanted 128 rounds after he set up the Gaudiya Math. Before, that's a different story. He was chanting 192 rounds and engaging in services. Very important services, like he wrote his commentary to Chaitanya Charitamrita at that time while he was chanting 192 rounds a day. So it's not like that. When we want to chant with a service attitude, then Krishna welcomes it. Sevo mukhehi jivpado swayameva spuratyada. We are supposed to increase our chanting with the service attitude. We are not supposed to try to increase our chanting while decreasing our service attitude. And that service attitude is, Krishna, please engage everything that I possess in your service. So that Krishna will decide. how to engage us, our body, mind, intelligence, words, everything. There are 64 items of bhakti. All of them are required. All of them are required. Because we cannot chant constantly. Why we cannot chant constantly? Because of Namaprana. Why we cannot engage in bhakti uninterruptedly? Because of sinful reactions. And offenses are a special category of sinful activities. So the reactions to offenses are actually a special category of sinful reactions. And these sinful reactions prevent us from coming to the point of uninterrupted engagement in bhakti yoga. For instance, okay, wait, I should share the screen. Yeah, right. Famous verse. Yesham tu antagatam papam jananam punya karmanam te dvandva moha nirmukta bhajante mam tridhav pratta. Persons who have acted piously in previous lives and in this life, and whose sinful actions are completely eradicated, are freed from the dualities of delusion, and they engage themselves in my service with determination. But those whose sins are completely eradicated, of such persons, whose previous activities are pious, they become free from the duality of delusion, and they engage in devotional service to me with determination. So their vows are dhrida, firm, determined. So in other words, this is nishtha. So that is why anartha nivritti comes before nishtha, because otherwise one will be constantly moved about because of the dualities of delusion, the extremities of delusion. One time we'll be disoriented by material happiness, another time we'll be disoriented by material unhappiness. I might have decided that I'm going to increase my chanting, and then suddenly somebody tells me that my salary has been doubled. So in the great ecstasy of hearing that my salary has been doubled, I forget to increase my chanting. Or I decide that I'm going to increase my chanting, and somebody tells me that my salary has been cut into half. Then in the depression that my salary has been cut into half, now I forget my vow of deciding to increase my chanting. So instead of being disoriented by material happiness or material unhappiness, move forward and move forward. That's it. Without bothering about whether we are materially happy or materially unhappy. So for that to happen, we have to be free from the reactions to various sinful activities and offenses. Offenses are the worst type of sinful activities. Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Jiva Goswami explained that the offenses are actually demoniac activities. They are not just innocent activities, they are actually demoniac activities, forbidden evil, the worst form of sinful activities. So it is important that we should constantly and consciously do everything that is required to get out of this mess. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur has noted that when we take up a regulated life of Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, when we take up these activities in regulation, like Prabhupada and the predecessor acharyas, they give us a regulated life. Morning, you do this routine, Mangalarti. You chant this many rounds per day, minimum. Like that, we are supposed to come up with various routines. This much I will chant, this service I will do. Routines, daily routines, or it could be other type of periodical routines, weekly routines. Right, every Ekadashi, or every month, or every year. Routine. Actually, the entire Varnashrama life is nothing but a routine. You have daily duties, you have periodical duties of different types. You have circumstantial duties when some circumstance hits you, like traditional textbook examples. A child is born, then there's a new set of duty for that circumstance. Or somebody dies in the family, there's another set of duties for that circumstance. So you have daily duties, you have non-daily but periodical duties, and then you have circumstantial duties. So in Varnashrama Dharma, one's life is basically just a routine. This is how we become self-disciplined. So when in that civilized environment of self-discipline, it is easy to come to the point of Dhrida Vrata, being determined in our vows. It is very common that we make a determination that I will chant 25 rounds tomorrow. And then next day, we somehow don't do it. Somehow, something happens, either mood out or something happens. Somehow we don't do it. That's because we are not strong in Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. So Prabhupada has given that kind of a life. He has given us missionary service during the day. And in the morning and the evenings, he has given us a morning program and an evening program. At homes, the devotees are meant to replicate this. That is why he said that these homes, Vaishnava homes, are meant to be replicas. They're meant to be homes. The home is meant to be a temple. That's what it means. Not that everyone does whatever they want and it's a circus and you call it a temple. It's not like that. It's supposed to come up to temple standards. Temples themselves are supposed to come up to scriptural standards, verifiably. And homes are meant to be of high standards. That is called following Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Today's Bhaktivinoda Thakur's appearance. Following Bhaktivinoda Thakur at home is not different from staying in a monastic environment in a temple and following Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. We attain the same perfect result of Bhava Bhakti and Prema Bhakti in a predictable manner. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, one of his greatest contributions is in highlighting the importance of Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, Sadhana Siddhi, and following a regular routine life. Not all the time trying to look out for some special magical way. Some parachute will come and carry me. Nothing like that. Nothing like that. Just pull down and understand that nothing is going to happen. If something happens, okay, fine. But don't expect it. Don't depend on Kripasiddhi and all that. Why? The method is working. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says the method works. The method always works. Nishchaya phal jana, he says in Bengali. Success guarantee. You follow, you will see the result. So give a particular method. You increase your chanting. You do this, you do that. But life has to be regulated. Life has to be regulated. When life is not regulated, then even when you try to increase the chanting, you don't attain instant results. But Krishna makes you understand that you need to become regulated. So it is internally, we may be very proud, thinking, why do I need to follow all these regulations? I'll work out my own way of attaining Krishna Prema, my own way of attaining sadhana siddhi. But then, when we take shelter of the holy name, even with such misconceptions, as long as we have the desire to come to the point of anartha nivritti and ishtaruchi in the regular manner, Krishna himself will make us understand what we are doing wrong, where our conceptions are wrong, and he will rectify us. He will make us understand why we need to serve the spiritual master, why we need to serve the Vaishnavas, why we need to serve the Dham, why we need to serve the Bhagavatam, why we need to serve the deity. Everything is relevant. Initially, we have some childish misconceptions, and we may just jump into chanting and sometimes jump out of chanting also. So instead of all this, half a sudden, we become regulated. But that takes time. Each and every one of us has to individually, with maturity, wake up to that understanding. And it will come. It will come. It will come. It will come. We just have to become regulated, and things will come. We need to follow. Krishna will also reciprocate and make us understand that he understands our situation. It's a doable process. It is not some undoable process. We have to do it very carefully. That's all. Then we can progress without regress. We can progress without regret also. Anything else? Should I meditate on the lotus feet of the Lord while chanting? That will be very good. Very, very good. If we can look at the deity form and respectfully gaze at his lotus feet while chanting Hare Krishna. It's all very nice. Good only. Or otherwise also, if one tries to hear, that is also good. Somehow, quality and quantity. We need to increase both. Both of them are significant. We need to increase the quality, we need to increase the quantity. In the midst of a complete life of Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. Anyway, Krishna will drag us to that point. Is it preferred to finish 16 rounds before Mangalarati? There are some devotees who chant more than 16 rounds before Mangalarati. And they always report that it is extremely sattvic and very peaceful. Obviously, Brahma Muhurta time is the most relishable time for anyone who wants to come to the mode of goodness. That is also the time we have Guru Ashtakam prayers, which is actually written to be recited or sung at that time. Anyway, this all individually, each and every one of us have to go through. You cannot learn swimming in theory class. Now you have to jump into the water. So when you increase the quality and quantity of your chanting within a life of Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, and of course giving up every activity that is forbidden, then gradually Krishna makes us understand. Krishna makes us understand directly. He speaks through our spiritual masters. He speaks through our other Vaishnavas. He may even speak through some non-devotee to make us understand. Krishna is always trying to communicate with us. And we gradually understand that we are not searching for Krishna. Krishna is searching for us. It's humiliating, but Krishna doesn't like to humiliate us. Very kind. All right. Yeah, any further questions we can discuss on Telegram? Again, I'm sorry I got late. I'll try to be on time. Vaishnavebhyo Vaishnavebhyo